Alright guys, so I'm currently working on Dancer Mickey, started this yesterday. For anyone who's wondering about working on a Mickey, I'll explain that r- shortly. I got the mouth working. So yeah, that was just M to the I, tested the head out. So, for anyone who wants to get into fixing these, if you're working on Mickey and it has severe problems, this is exactly what you're gonna have to work with. It's not fun. Getting some of these parts was actually, well, getting the parts apart wasn't easy. A lot of fitted parts are in there, especially for the head. There's like a fitted shaft, and getting that wasn't easy. So yes, currently with the head, issue with the head was that I think there was like a gear that like it didn't get strip, but it just kind of got messed up, like warped a bit from where it got abused at one point. So I had to kind of straighten out the teeth, and now the mouth works. And originally, the whole reason why this whole upper part was not working was because there's a hinge right about there, this little hinge right there. There you go. That one right there in the middle. That was not connected to the upper jaw at all. So someone had like forced the mouth up too far and just completely detached it, which was a relief because I thought the whole thing was broken. So I was going to be like, oh, great. So he's not going to have a working mouth. But his mouth works now. Issue with the arms. Here's the pretty much this is the what holds the board, and this is the arm module. Oops. As you can see here, there's two loose strings. One's long, one's short. The short one goes to the arm here, and then the long one goes to the other arm that's all the way over here. So, what broke is that this is actually a very common thing that tends to happen with some of these toys, because something similar like this happened to a another Mickey I fixed, where only one arm would move. Sorry about that. Of course, one arm would get stuck in the up position, which was kind of weird, but I'm actually getting an Elmo Live from a friend soon that had the same issue to the very last Dancer Mickey that I worked on. So it's gonna be interesting to see if the mechs are different or somewhat the same. But anyways, so these contain. Let's see, I don't remember which is which now. Crap. Oh well. So these little bits here, let me put them over here. These little itty bitty bits. As you can see, this has looks like little gear teeth under it, and this one as well. So what these are, these usually this would be not really. It wouldn't be a one piece because this little piece here is a cap, but the little piece inside of it is a screw hole that's supposed to be attached to up on that little area. So the string would just pretty much be looped, and this would just be put over it. And if this piece was like exactly how it needed to be, you'd screw it in there tightly, and pretty much it would just grasp onto it. And pretty much for a lot of the parts on this, because most of this toy is mostly string controlled, and it's interesting. So the back stoppers in here that make the toy go forward and backwards, string controlled. There's pieces in here which are the ones over here, I believe. Those are the ones. Actually, no, wait, those aren't the ones. Where are the ones that make him moonwalk? Ah, right here. These bits here are the ones that make him pretty much moonwalk, which are connected to the leg module. There's that, and then of course the arms are string controlled, which are these pieces here. They go into here and they just get pulled. This is the whole arm module itself, and the ones back here are pretty much that control these, because there's another piece where both of them get fitted into. So it's an interesting design. The design honestly could have been much better, rather than having it to where they would have screws in there. They should have just made the pieces where they just get looped through it and they just, tie them on and still make it removable. Like pretty much making it like this, but have a string that like a little peat notch that comes out and just tie string through it. I think that would have been better, in my opinion, but I feel like in a way, it probably still would have broken away because, pressure with kids being rough on this. This was supposed to be a toy that was very high quality, but of course, I remember during its launch, it did have some units that were practically defective out of the factory, but it is what it is. So far, mouth is working. I'm gonna try putting the guess you could say the helmet on and see how well it does that. So I guess my next portion is figure out. I know with the arms, I know how I can fix them. It's just gonna be done a little bit differently, and yeah. Now for the feet, his feet were broken. If you remember, he was able to lean far back and far forward. If you saw in the previous video, he straight up literally fell in front of a Pixel, my girlfriend's pup. And yeah, the reason for that is this is one of the more fragile parts on the toy, especially with nowadays. So you see where there's like a broken notch around there and there. So there used to be a two metal rods that were fitted in there, and that's pretty much what kept the pretty much you could say the front portion of the legs stable. But as in a few, yeah, my gosh, yeah, no, why I'm yawning so much? I'm not really that tired, and it just tends to happen. If I talk too much, I tend to yawn a lot, especially if I'm just talking to myself. I yawn because I'm boring. Anyways, so there were supposed to be two mill poles that go into there and pretty much stabilize these bits. Pretty much these are the ones that would attach to here, and then you have a pole that goes through them. Of course, both poles are nowhere to be found, and I don't really, well, okay, I guess it would make sense why they're missing, because one foot wasn't covered, so they probably fell out through there, so that would make sense. So my whole goal is to see if I can find new shafts that can fit through there perfectly, except if I'm not mistaken, this whole little bezel right here, right there where my finger's pointing, where you go through, they're aligned perfectly. So, actually, I'm gonna check to make sure they are aligned perfectly. Yes, they are. If I can drill a perfect hole through all that, I can just get a really long shaft and have it go out through both ways and give them enough slack to where they at least reach these bits, because these are like the stoppers, you could say. So definitely gotta do that. And from there, his feet will be done. And then for the arms, as I said, I'm gonna probably work on the arms next and see if I can get those working. If I can get those working, it's like, oh my gosh, this thing is coming together nicely. Of course, with one of his leg poles that did break, so gonna have to glue that and reinforce it. And the skin, I need to get washed because he is a little dirty. And of course, he has some screws, he has some springs. Well, two screws, two springs, two big pieces of plastic, and a button in one hand. I don't think washing it would really affect it. I mean, of course, eventually it would somewhat, it would kind of mess it up with water over time because it would probably corrode or rust or something. I don't know, but I just want to get that cleaned, and then after that, after finding out this thing is like somewhat high pitch, I like it. I'm not sure if I will sell it or not, but there's always a good chance I will. Oh yeah, after that. Yeah, I need to stop yawning. What is wrong with me? Next thing I need to do is reinforce all these cables, because this is where the problem usually tends to happen with models that are stuck in demo mode out of the box. There is a little relay switch, and I think it was this foot. This foot has it. One of these cables is for pretty much putting it in a chiming mode. And the problem with one of my Mickeys if you guys remember the video called Mickey Being Weird, how he kept switching back and forth was because a wire was actually broken off of one of the little pins that lead to it. So I couldn't tell at the time, and that's what was getting stuck between both modes. So fixed that up, and all was good. Could probably reinforce these was like hot glue or something that might work. Not too sure yet, but yeah. Oh yeah, another thing I gotta do is clean the bag compartments because they're both corroded. Same with the bag bag cover. So I gotta remove the sponge and figure out a nice way how to get the corrosion off. Anyways, hope you guys enjoyed it. Stay tuned, and I'll see you all in the next video.